Hey there, Paul Wagler here for Arise Now and the 2-minute wake-up call. Well, I am here today with my good friend Doug Allin. We're sitting in his beautiful backyard and we're socially distant here, nice, at least 6 feet apart. We did want to shoot this video a little while ago before COVID happened, and then all of a sudden COVID happened and it's like, oh, well, here we are. We can finally do it, but we're got to make sure we have our distance. Well, I wanted to bring Doug on to share some of his story, but of what's been happening in his life. But before I do that, I wanted to just say a wee bit about our friendship. Doug and I met at Grand River Transit. We're co-workers there, both bus drivers, and I think we probably met about 16 or 17 years ago, shortly after Doug started there. And as I was thinking about our friendship, Doug, I realized that we have a lot of things in common, which is probably why we've gotten along so well. One is that we both grew up on a farm, milked a lot of cows in our day. We both love cookies and all things sweet and love to share our treats together. We both have kind of a unique sense of humor.
Unique? Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, some people might use another word to describe it. We both cheer for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You do cheer for them, don't you?
I do cheer for them, yeah.
Yes. And we both love Jesus, which is more important than all, and seek to follow him and be faithful to his teachings and to serve him with our whole lives. And so that's one of the things I've really appreciated about you. And as we got to know each other, we realized that our names have an interesting likeness, shall we say. Your name is Douglas Paul, and mine is Paul Douglas. Well, it just seems like we're destined to be friends. In spite of all of those things that we have in common, there's one thing that we really don't have in common that you seek to highlight regularly, and what would that be?
Oh, that you have no hair and I do have hair.
Yeah. Doug is the guy who reminds me more than anybody else that I'm bald and he's not. And that's okay. We have a lot of fun with that. But anyway, I wanted Doug to come on the video today to share a bit about the journey that he's been on. And Doug, a little or less than a year ago, you got some news that has kind of changed your life. And I just thought maybe you could share with our viewers today some about that and what the journey has been like since you've got that news.
Okay. Thanks, Paul. Last summer and into September last year, I wasn't feeling very well, and at times missed some work. And the start of October, why they did a chest X-ray on me, and they found the original spot of cancer that was up here on top of my lungs. And so the last day that I worked was October 3rd last year, and I've been off since then. And through continuing tests and why they've found that I have 3 spots of cancer on my brain, and the cancer has now moved into my lungs. And during all this time, I've had radiation, I've had treatments, and it all seems to be slowing it down to a certain degree. But the thing I really want to talk about is our journey as we went through this. The first thing I want to say is that you have to be willing to trust in God. And He supplies our every need. And right from the start, my wife Sheila and I'll say we a lot, and I'm talking about my wife Sheila, who I couldn't have went through this without, I don't think. And but right off the bat, we went to God and said that we trusted Him. We let Him know that we trust Him, and we talked to Him. We asked Him for peace, and He supplied all our needs. And the next thing was right from the start. Once we knew what it actually was, why we put it out to everybody that we knew and asked them for prayer for us. And that's been our ongoing thing, is to ask for prayer. And when people pray for you, things happen. And I have to suggest, be very specific in your prayers at times. Things have changed as we went along here, how we feel about things and how things are affecting me physically and mentally. And don't be afraid to ask people to specifically pray for certain things, and you'll see answers. The, the most recent thing I can think about is a month ago we put out an update, and we put in some very specific requests in there. And one of them was that my appetite would improve. My appetite's been very poor. I've been losing weight since last fall. And, in the last 4 weeks, my appetite's greatly improved, almost back to what it should be, which may not be good. But I've actually put on 6 pounds in the last 4 weeks, which is amazing.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and that is a specific answer to prayer, and we believe that. Mm-hmm. And I think the other thing, very important thing is, all along, we've hit different times. Like right at the start, it was very difficult for a couple of weeks. In January, when they finally told us that it was stage 4, that it was incurable, that there's no cure for it, that was very difficult for about 3 or 4 days. And not that we were ever mad at God. I don't want to say that we were mad at God. I don't think disappointed is the right word either, but a little devastating to hear that. It's
For
not,
sure.
That is not curable. And that's what we've been hoping for all along. But each time we've been able to get over that and continue on. And I think the important thing is we've always prayed to God to give us peace. And you have to have peace about it. You can't get up every morning and be mad and angry that you have cancer and that you're probably not going to live forever. And you can't do that. It'll just tear you apart. And much better to get up every morning and thank the Lord for the day that you have and for peace about it. And,
that's awesome.
And we were also very specific a month ago with our update when we knew that the cancer had spread. We specifically asked for grace to accept what it was and for strength to carry on. And I know the Lord will do that for us.
Yeah. Wow.
So.
Yeah, Doug, as we've, many of us who are your friends who've been journeying with you have observed you and Sheila in this time, we've all been amazed at the strength of your faith and how it is being lived out in such a practical way each and every day, as it feels like devastating news after devastating news, but yet it doesn't take long, and you're right back up there with good spirits and a positive attitude and a good sense of humor, which you've never lost in the midst of all of that, which has been such a blessing to see. And so your faith and your faithfulness in following Jesus in the midst of these times has been a real encouragement and an inspiration to many of us. And so we really thank you for that.
Well, thanks, Paul.
Yeah, thanks. No, it's been awesome to see. So, Doug, if you met up with someone who had just received news of cancer, or they're facing some other kind of troubling situation that they feel is kind of hopeless, what would your advice be to them?
Well, I think the first thing that has to be, you have to lean on the Lord. You have to be willing to talk to Him and tell Him how you feel, and just ask Him for the peace, and like I said, the peace and the strength to go forward. And that's first and foremost. I think the second most important thing is, as I've talked about, is just asking anybody and everybody that will pray for you to pray for you. Mm-hmm. And at times be very specific about what you need prayed for. Mm-hmm. And as I've said, God will answer those prayers. Mm-hmm. And like I also said, the important thing is you can't be mad about it. If you're mad about it, it'll just eat away at you. The anger never does a person any good. Yeah. And so you have to ask for peace about it, and just be able to get up every day and thank the Lord for the day that you have.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. That's great advice. And so, Doug, as you continue this journey, we as your friends and others who are supporting you and praying for you, we will continue to do that, and we will continue to be asking God for a miracle in your life, and whether that comes in the way that we expect it to or not, I know that from what you and Sheila have demonstrated, your faith will remain, and you are, and will continue to be, I know, an incredible witness as followers of Jesus. And so we thank you for that, and just pray of many blessings upon both of you as you walk this difficult road.
Well, thanks, Paul. We appreciate everybody's prayers for us. It means everything.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Wonderful to be on the journey with you. Even
Thanks.
if you keep bugging me about how bald I am.
That won't stop.
Yeah, no, I know. Anyway, well, that's been wonderful, Doug, and so encouraging. And I trust this has been an inspiration to you as we hear of Doug and Sheila's journey here of being overcomers in the midst of a difficult situation. It inspires each one of us to know that as we walk with Jesus, we can overcome whatever comes our way as well. Well, that's all for today then, and until we meet again, stay awake
And stay alert.
Hey, you remember. Good for you.